Genesis 13. So Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev, and he and his wife and all that belonged to him, and Lot with him. Now Abram was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the Negev as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been in the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place of the altar which he had made there formerly. And there Abram called upon the name of Yahweh. Now Lot, who was going with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, and the land could not sustain them while living together, for their possessions were so abundant that they were not able to live together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. Now the Canaanite and the Perizzite were living in the land. So Abram said to Lot, "Please, let there be no strife between you and me, nor between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brothers. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If to the left, then I will go to the right. If to the right, then I will go to the left." Then Lot lifted up his eyes and saw all the valley of the Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. This was before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Like the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Egypt as you go to Zoar. So Lot chose for himself all the valley of the Jordan, and Lot journeyed eastward, thus they separated from each other. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived in the cities of the valley and moved his tents as far as Sodom. And the men of Sodom were evil and sinners, exceedingly so, against Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, "Now lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see, I will give it to you and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if anyone can number the dust of the earth, then your seed can also be numbered. Arise, walk about the land through its length and breadth, for I will give it to you." Then Abram moved his tent and came and lived by the oaks of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and there he built an altar to Yahweh. Again we see Abram worship, verse 18. He built an altar to Yahweh. Why? It wasn't because he got the more fertile land. He deferred to Lot for that. Verse 10. Lot lifted up his eyes and saw the valley of the Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere. And so Abram got the inferior land. It was when God reiterated his promise, saying in verse 16, "I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if anyone can number the dust of the earth, then your seed can also be numbered." Verse 17, "Arise, walk about the land through its length and breadth, for I will give it to you." After that, that's when Abram built an altar to worship. It's a different perspective than simply praising God for getting the more abundant land, getting the better alternative of something. It's easy to praise God for a higher quality portion of something. But what if it was just God's promise reiterated, truths deepened and illustrated, like how God added the image of dust being counted? Would that trigger worship? Even if that land was inferior. What was more important to Abram wasn't the fertility of the land. It was the fact that God will give Abram that land, and God will fulfill his promise through that land. It's easy to compare. Someone else got the better this or that, but whatever we have given by God, sometimes can't help but to compare. Someone else went to a better college, or someone else have seemingly better spouse, or more behaved children, better house, car, whatever it is. How much does that matter? If God gave us what we have, and God will use what he has given to us to fulfill his purposes, we can still worship. These are my thoughts. Hope to hear yours.